Empty shelves might become the new normal for a while. Some stores have run out of meat and there's no sign of when they'll get new deliveries. More than a dozen meat processing factories have been forced to close because of COVID-19. The system requires workers standing close together in a pattern repeated across the country. One gets sick, many others inevitably follow.
In meat processing, the work by its very nature is very crowded. People have to stand very closely together as they're working on the line to process pieces of meat that are going by very, very quickly.
The closure of factories from Missouri to Colorado, from Virginia to South Dakota, creates a real problem in the supply chain. Farmers now have thousands of animals they need to feed and house, not something they'd budgeted for.
We've got to be able to move our cattle further along in the process, and right now there's a bottleneck in our supply chain that's really causing a lot of issues and some concern for our producers.
Donald Trump is so concerned about supermarkets running out of meat that he's used an old wartime law to keep the meat processing factories open. He's designated them as critical infrastructure, but unions are concerned that that might mean workers' safety is put at risk. They're worried federal guidelines will be ignored. One expert says a safe workforce means less threat to the food supply.
We're looking at risks of outbreaks if we don't practice these infection control steps, measures. Or, on the other hand, we're looking at some possible reduction in food supply, but not necessarily shortage. So it's really necessary to prevent the outbreaks so that the processing facilities can continue to operate.
The US government says it expects the shuttered factories to be back up and running in days, not weeks. But those in the food industry say the impacts of dealing with the virus will last months. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Falls Church, Virginia.